What's up everybody, this is Kyprotonic, sorry for a few days without an upload, and today we actually have a Black and White 2 Wi-Fi battle against an opponent called Qwilfish. Now looking at his team, with his name known as Qwilfish, obviously he's going to be using a Qwilfish. I'm actually using this somewhat more of a defensive, I guess, to a degree, as well as a sort of like an offensive call with my Starmie and Thunderous. Those are kind of like my sweepers, or my Thunderous is more like a Scarfer, so it can actually just plonk in and hear it in and out occasionally. Tentacruel is actually a Toxic Spike variant with Rapid Spin. My Fortress is a Spike variant, and my Jirachi is actually a Stealth Rocket. And Politoed to set up the rain because obviously a rain team cannot win without actually a Politoed. So looking from his side, he actually didn't have a Weather Inducer, and I'm just going to start with Politoed just to get the rain up constantly. So he starts with Starmie, which is actually probably the great Pokemon to actually start off in the game for his side. So I'm actually going to switch out, predicting his electric type move, and I'm going to switch into my Thunderous to, get my ability kicking in. But no, he actually predicts that, I guess, and goes for the Surf, and I take a nice hefty chunk of damage. But I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch, because I'm actually Scarfed. I'm actually going to be able to outspeed the Starmie. If I was actually Choice Specs or Life Orb variant, I really wouldn't have been able to take out that Starmie, so thankfully I actually do take out that in the end. Now, from the Volt Switch I go into my own Starmie. He brings in Ditto, and with it being like one of those imposter variants, it's actually going to be able to somewhat copycat my Starmie. So predicting again the electric move, which I got right this time, I'm actually going to be able to go back into my Thunderous, get the Volt Orb, and actually gain some very useful HP in this battle. Predicting his switch out into something I'm not too sure what he'd like to go out into, I'm going to go for the safe Volt Switch once again. He switches into a Hydreigon. I switch into Starmie. I kind of bluffed him to maybe going in for a switch, or maybe I just wanted to scout what this Hydreigon would actually try go for. I didn't think maybe an Ice Beam would be able to take him out at that point. So yeah, so I go into Jirachi here. I'm going to be able to get up my Stealth Rocks, and we're good to go. I don't think he has a Rapid Spinner on his team, so that's quite good for me. So I'm actually going to go for the Thunder Wave just to slow this thing down. It can be a bit of a pain, Qwilfish, because it actually does have decent defense, and it actually has the Intimidate ability. So I wasn't too sure what he'd like to go for, but I kind of thought maybe the best thing for me to do would be to go into my Fortress just to try and lay up the spikes. So in comes the Hydreigon once again, and I get paralyzed trying to go for at least another layer of spikes there, which kind of sucks. So here I'm predicting his Fire Blast, because most Hydreigons usually carry that. Or that's what I kind of anticipate, and yeah, he decides to go for the Dark Pulse, which is a stabbed move on the Hydreigon, so Tentacruel is actually going to take that very nicely. Now my opponent now decides to switch out, go into a Metagross, and yeah, I'm just going to go for the Scalp, just because I want to try and get some damage on the Hydreigon, and if I get the the burn, that's actually quite good, because, a bit of residual damage racking up on the Hydreigon. But, he switches into a physical attacker just to, try and hit the move, or maybe he was predicting something else, I'm not too sure. So I protect here just to scout what he wants to try and go for. I kind of expected maybe the Stealth Rock, or, protecting on Stealth Rock wouldn't make much sense, but I tried to kind of anticipate that. But, yeah, I thought Earthquake, but he goes for Thunder Punch, so I'm thinking he's going to be locked on Thunder Punch, or, maybe he will try and go for that again. But no, he smashes my Thunderous T to the face with an Ice Punch. So switching into Starmie, he decides to switch back out himself into the Starmie Ditto, which then transfers into the Starmie of his own. Yeah, this is very confusing when you actually do see a Ditto, and then it just quickly transforms, and you're like, oh fuck. So my Hydro Pump doesn't actually take it out. I'm kind of scared that maybe his Thunderbolt, because he actually copied all my attacks and stats, etc. I'm just going to switch into Jirachi. I kind of thought maybe my own Starmie would probably result into a little wish, and that's what I do. I go for a wish just to hopefully try and recover back some HP on something, or maybe just switch into something just to take a hit, then, allow the wish to get back up my HP. So considering actually his Metagross is a full-on physical attacker from the looks of it, Fortress is actually going to be able to try and go for maybe another layer of spikes, but instead I actually do go for the Volt Switch, and the reason why I go for that, because I actually expected this thing to come back in. So yep, because of my stupidity sometimes, even though I kind of think, oh yeah, I can take these moves pretty nicely, or take on these pokes very good, I sometimes forget what type of moves or what type of moves I should at least be worrying about when it comes to these certain type of Pokemon. So I get nailed with an Earth Power, which only does about just probably less than half there. I'm just going to go for the Rain Dish, Protect combination just to gain back some HP. And with leftovers, I'm looking at a comfortable amount of HP, so I know I can at least take another Earth Power, but you know, I don't, so that kind of sucks. So now I'm going to switch into Politoed, and considering that I'm probably going to lock myself into a move, the best choice for me at this time was to go for the Ice Beam just to get rid of this Hydreigon, because to be honest, this thing was kind of a pain, and to be honest, overall, that was probably one of the major threats from his team, so that's a great thing to see that thing go down. In comes the Crobat. I'm going to kind of anticipate the, I guess, Brave Bird, because everybody remembers that old scenario. Brave Bird everything, because if you don't have anything else to do, when in doubt, Brave Bird about. Remember that saying. So, Brave Bird actually does a shit ton of damage to my Jirachi, and I'm thinking I need to slow this thing down, because if it's actually carrying the Roost, I am in big trouble. Or something like that. So, yep, I go for Iron Head in the combination of the Paralysis. I do get it, so that's great. And go for another Iron Head, and that takes out the Crobat. So, you know, I think could have caused a bit more trouble to my team, but I dealt with it pretty comfortably there. In comes the Ditto once again, and yeah, it's going to be an Imposter Ditto. Haha. Oh, you copied me. You're funny. So he uses Iron Head and flinches me, which sucks. I was actually hoping to flinch him, or actually take... I'm sorry, I should have actually been able to take out the Jirachi of his, but no. So the Ditto actually transforms into my Jirachi and actually hacks me to death, so... Oh yeah, that's kind of funny. To me, that's very funny. So I go into Politoed just to take whatever he tries to go for. He decides to go for, like, Iron Head's constantly trying to wither down my Politoed as much as possible. And I do take it out with the Surf, so that's Ditto all the way. In comes the Qwilfish once again. I just decide to stay in here and go for the Surf. And considering also Qwilfish doesn't exactly have the best special defense, I imagine a 20-spec Surf in the raid is still going to do a very hefty amount of damage to his Qwilfish. So we both get paralyzed. I was actually just hoping just to take out the Qwilfish at that point. So he's actually faster now because we're both paralyzed, and I get paralyzed because he went for the waterfall. And this kind of sucks because Politoed just goes down there. So I was actually hoping Politoed could do a bit more against his Qwilfish, but no, it turns out not to be the case. So in comes Starmie, and Starmie's going to thunderbolt this thing to death and take it out. I believe my opponent's only down to one more Pokemon, which is the Metagross. So, yeah, overall, this was actually a pretty comfortable battle. Probably made it a little bit more difficult than I should have done, but, you know, a good game is a good game overall. So, please, guys, if you liked the video, please comment, keep subscribing, and, you know, keep giving that big thumbs up because, you know, it proves that people still watch my videos, and I do appreciate all the support that I still get. So, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.